Hello everyone! So for today's video, I get to finally make the big announcement about my stationery set that I'm planning to launch in the fall. I've been working on this for months, so I'm really excited to share it with you. So for this video, I'm not gonna show what the final product looks like. I'm not gonna show you what the designs look like in my InDesign software. Instead, what I'm just gonna do is show a couple sketches, kind of go over the mood boards, the color palettes, and the reason why I decided to do this stationery line. Sorry, I apologize for the lighting. The sun, at the time I'm filming this, it's like late morning, so the sun is kind of in this weird spot hovering on that side of the sky. It's not, and I think there's a bit of cloud cover too, so it's so again, sorry about the lighting. It's probably gonna be kind of wonky. But anyway, so the reason I started the stationery line is watching my sister having to deal with all the deadlines she was doing. As some of you know who've been watching a couple of my videos, my sister is an indie romance author and she has had 3 books out. And I've also seen the process that she has been going through when it comes to releasing a book. So a lot of this, this came to be, I want to say sometime last year, Q4 last year, which would be 2025, I noticed that my sister was doing a lot of juggling when it came to a lot of her deadlines. I was actually staying with her and her family for a long period of time, and I noticed she was wearing lots of hats. She had to do a lot of the social posting, she had to do some editing. By this point in time in her career, she's hired an editor, but she still has to do some edits. She's also planning for author signings and other market events, local market events, where a lot of bookstores in the area actually like to do these author signings. So she's juggling between how to plan for those. So I noticed so it got to a point when she was actually telling me a lot of what was going to be coming up in the next few months or even the next year of things that she would be doing. And I don't, so I ended up asking her, I'm like, do you have all of this written down? You have it all forecasted? And it turned out that she didn't. We ended up going, I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, we ended up going to Walmart to just pick up one of those generic planners that I think that you can just write in. She didn't want anything too fussy. She just wanted something that would be easy for her to reference. So as I'm watching her go through, as I'm watching her enter all this information in this, I just thought to myself, wouldn't that be nice if there's actually one document source authors could reference when it comes to planning the events that they're doing? And not just planning like book signings or exhibitor events, markets, anything like that, but even just social posts, when to make edits on things, just write down ideas on anything that's coming up. Say you have an idea of what you want your booth space to look like, or you have an idea for a character interaction that you want to have in an upcoming book that you're writing, or even a giveaway that you want to have at your event. Just anything that has to do with your life as an author and what you're planning in the future. So I like to use planners myself, and as a creative person, it was very important for me to create something that is beautiful but intentional and functional and helps you plan amongst all the craziness and chaos that happens when it comes to making deadlines and planning for events, or even planning just your content, anything like that. So I'm going with 3 items for my stationery set collection. So the items for this collection are going to be a monthly planner, a journal, and a checklist. So for the monthly planner, it's for 12 months. But there is space to take into account important dates and events that go beyond the 12 months. Right now I have it as a dated planner. The journal will have months and dates listed at the top, which gives you flexibility. So like say there's something that you really want to write about on a particular day or on a particular week, if that's something that you have that, so you have that flexibility. And then a checklist, and the checklist is pretty flexible. It can be used for daily purposes or weekly purposes, however it is that you function. So I went with two different aesthetics for my stationery set. The first one is gonna have richer, darker colors, and I went with a celestial sky theme. The whole idea of other worlds and infinite possibilities, that's something that I really wanted to capture for the stationery set. And then the second option, I went with a lighter look. So I decided to go with flowers, pink flowers specifically, cherry blossoms. I wanted to have the whole theme of new beginnings, hope, because spring kind of brings that whole new life to things. So that's the second option I wanted to cover. This one is kind of more an homage to my sister because it's one of her favorite flowers. So of course, because the stationery set was inspired by her, I wanted to do something related to her. Hey, it's Future Macy. I was going back through the video and realized that I had to do some troubleshooting with my camera. It was giving me issues while I was filming. So it missed recording a segment I mentioned for inspiration for the Celestial Sky stationery set. So I'm kind of bringing my fandoms as an inspiration to this. I'm a huge fan of Star Trek, Star Wars, and Love in Deep Space. For anyone who doesn't know Love in Deep Space, it's an otome game, and it does deal with deep space, and it deals with the possibility of other worlds and Fountain of Youth. There's everything from mermen, demigods, who know all the parallel timelines of the universe. Mermen, did I mention mermen already? Dragons. Anyway, so the thing that I love the most, by the way, I'm not going to get into debate about which captain is the best from Star Trek. So one thing that those three all have in common is very rich world building and storytelling. So I thought for my very first stationery set for authors that would kind of pay homage to that, the whole idea of world building and storytelling and infinite possibilities. So here's the color palette I've created for the first design, which I'm calling it the Celestial Sky for now. So you can see there's like a lot of rich, deep like blues and purples. I have a little bit of turquoise here, but it's kind of a darker turquoise. And then of course gold to represent the stars. And then the second the second color palette to represent the cherry blossoms, I went with a lot of like soft pinks and then some of the greenery, and then some of green and brown to represent the greenery and branches. And then I went with kind of like a darker gray as a neutral to offset a lot of the bright colors. So the planner, I decided to keep it a very minimalist style when it came to the inside pages. It is going to be grayscale. I decided that while the covers are going to be very stylized and very much like pieces of art, the inside I wanted to be very functional, but also give you the users the ability to customize it however you like. If you want to use colored markers, if you want to use stickers, if you want to use washi tape, or if you want to draw some of your own things. I wanted to focus more on making it functional, and then that way you can still customize it however you like. So with the inside pages for the planner, I'll highlight a couple sections that are going to be in there. Obviously you have your monthly spread layout, but you'll also have space to list important dates that are upcoming for the year 2027 and 2028. You'll have a quarterly goal section, you'll have monthly goal section, and also you'll have inspiration pages. For these sections, you can do whatever you like in these. You can sketch out some ideas of table setups you like. You can reference other social media posts that you really like. You can list some of the social media posts of different authors that you like. If you like how their content is displayed, you can do character brainstorming for anything upcoming, or just to kind of write out whatever, or just to write out a scene. There's certain parts of the planner I basically made it so that it's lots of space for you to write whatever you need is in your head, just to get those thoughts out there. And you also have event planning pages, such as important information like dates, what the event, where the event is located, any items to bring, and thoughts on how you can improve on your next event. So these are all items I included in the planner. This is basically going to serve as your main source when it comes to deadlines, projects, and any tasks you need to do. So for the journal, I actually decided the inside pages are going to follow the color palette. Because the journal is going to be very minimal, it's mostly lines. So I decided that I was going to use a little bit of the color palette I created for the inside pages. You can use this journal basically however you like. Some people want bulleted notes, bulleted lists. Some people might want to draw grids on it. You have a lot of flexibility when it comes to using this journal. There are dates and months marked at the top. There are months and dates listed at the top, but you can circle them. You can cover them with any decorative stickers you like. You can use them if you want, or you could just not. It's really up to you. I just wanted it to be very flexible so that you can use the journal however you like. So the checklist uses the most colors within the color palette, and that one you can customize yourself as well. You can either use it weekly or you can use it daily, whichever one works for you. And the reason I decided to do it this way is so that when it's on your desk, it just basically looks like pieces of art. So all of these are a coordinated set, which you'll see later on in one of my videos when I basically show you what the samples look like. I wanted to create them so that they coordinate together and can be used together however you like. Each person has different needs. Some people really like having detailed to-do lists, and some people are okay with just an overview. But most important was that there's a system that within this stationery set that you can find works for you. I'm gonna go through a couple really messy sketches I made. I've made sketches, and I got this sketchbook from Michael's, and it was basically supposed to serve as a sketchbook for pretty much all of my stationery ideas, and it's pretty messy. I mean, there's like stuff everywhere. I mean, and some of it doesn't even match. Like it's all completely out of order. So, for example, for the checklist, I wrote out Notepad originally, but that's not what it ended up being. So you can see I've got like sketches here. I mean, like I originally was thinking of making the checklist like a weekly desk pad to go by the days of the week, but I ended up turning it into a checklist layout. So we got that going on. Okay, so here's some pages from the author planner. You can see this is if there's a signing event or an exhibitor event. I even did this where I used to do this actually back when I used to work in corporate, where we would do a spread layout of a newspaper ad. So if you ever go into a store, any store, Walmart, Target, any store really, they have on the wall when you first walk in, they might have an ad, like a couple pages posted on the wall with all the ads for the week. They call those circulars. So back in the day when I used to work in advertising, they would mail those out in the different newspapers, and each region, and it was priced according to the different regions. Certain places, for example, were able to sell certain things, others were not, or other markets were in high demand of one particular product versus another. So all of these ads were customized depending on the region you lived in. But before we would make those, we would actually have this like plotted layout of page 1, page 2, page 3. So I kind of started that with this. This was part of the author planner layout. So I would basically plan out, okay, this is where the cover is going to be. This is where the 2027 years will be. This one is going to be like upcoming events. And then so there's all kinds of different sketches I had planned out. I'm trying to see if I can find another layout. See if you can see if there's anything else I can show here. Some of this is for upcoming projects that I do not want to reveal just yet. But yeah, I think that's, and then I have these notes here on what I wanted to put in the author planner, what the content would be. Some of this actually did carry through. This was more of like a brain dump. Let me just list. And by the way, it says here, author planner 8x10. Don't listen to that. I should mention this too. I decided to make the collection small in size. The journal and the planner are going to be an A5 size. And the reason I chose that is because it's easy to take that on the go. I know a lot of authors, they might travel a lot, or they're working moms. So it basically fits in your purse. For those of you who don't know what an A5 size is, it's roughly the size of this. So I wonder if I can just, so you can kind of see. This easily fits into a purse, basically. So for the stationery set, I wanted to add a handmade kind of option to it. So I've sourced out some amazing printers who will be helping with some of the work, but I'll be assembling the items myself. I really like creating, I really like putting things together. It's just something that, I think you can kind of tell that I love analog. Based on the fact that I love to sketch with pen and paper, like assembling things, crafting things. I just love the whole handmade option. I don't want to say just yet, but in another video, I'll show you the different options I have for the journal. Because it's actually going to come with 2 different binding options that you can pick from. So I'll reveal that for another time. But, and also the materials are going to be as eco-friendly as possible. I haven't finalized the packaging yet. I'm still working on that, but it was really important for me to use as many eco-friendly materials as possible for this project, whether the paper's been recycled or if it's FSC certified. But everything that I'm using is basically made so that it basically reduces plastic waste, and you can either recycle it or I know some people like to keep things as kind of like a souvenir or as a record. So I mean, that's great too if you don't want to toss it out. I mean, but even if you did, it wouldn't really harm the environment. So either way, that's fine too. So I guess I'll conclude with this. Let me know in the comments which vibe you're interested in. Do you like the celestial sky option, or do you like the cherry blossom option? But let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Okay. I said I wasn't going to get into the Star Trek Captain debate, but because, we all grew up in different eras, we all grew up having particular likes and dislikes, but I mean, can we agree that Cisco was pretty badass? Just saying.